So today we're going to be talking about a major change to self-assessment here in the UK, which is being introduced by HMRC. Now, this change is going to affect you if you are someone who runs a business in the UK, if you're someone who's self-employed, or indeed if you're a landlord here in the UK. Now, the change itself is not due to actually come into effect until April 2026. However, there are some things that you will need to be aware of in order to ensure that you're fully prepared well ahead of the time that it actually comes into effect. Essentially, for those of you who may be unaware, Making Tax Digital for Income Tax is a government initiative which is aimed to transform the tax administration process to help ensure that taxpayers actually get their taxes done correctly. Okay, now if you're wondering how exactly this is going to be different from the current process for self-assessment here in the UK, that's a very good question. Now, the main change that you are going to see when this new initiative comes about is the fact that you're gonna go from actually submitting just one yearly self-assessment return to submitting up to 5 returns, okay? And why this is going to be 5 is because you're going to have to end up submitting 4 quarterly returns, okay, which is going to give HMRC updates about your business's income and expenses. And you will also have to submit what they refer to as a final declaration once a year. So that brings it to a total of 5 tax returns rather than just 1, which is the current process that we are all aware of. Now, HMRC have indicated that from 6th of April 2026, if you have an annual business or property income of more than £50,000, then you will have to comply with the rules of Making Tax Digital from that time on. They've also stipulated the second category of income threshold that will need to follow the Making Tax Digital rules as those that earn a business or a property income of more than £30,000. Now, however, you will not need to follow those rules if you fall into that income threshold until April 2027. Now, it's important to understand that we might potentially see a situation where this income threshold becomes lower and lower in future years, which basically means that there will be more people within self-employment or within their businesses who find that they will have to, no doubt, complete their self-assessment through this route as opposed to the current route that we are all currently aware of, which is the 1 annual return every year. Now, let's talk about what exactly will be required from you as a business owner following the implementation of this change. The first thing you're going to have to do is to ensure that all your business income and expenses, the records of that, are kept in a digital format. Now, ideally, it's likely that you're going to have to use some sort of HMRC approved software that can help you not only capture all this information, but will also help you when it comes to the submission process over to HMRC, which follows nicely on to the second thing you're going to have to do, which is to send quarterly updates of this information to HMRC. Now, HMRC have indicated that the submission process, okay, the quarterly returns are going to run in line with the tax year. So if you imagine the tax year in the UK starts from 6th of April, so that means your first quarterly return is going to be due on the 7th of August, and then the subsequent one will be then quarterly after that time. I'm going to leave the exact dates and deadlines for which HMRC have indicated your quarterly returns will be due up here on the screen. Now, it's important to understand that once you have done this and obviously ensure that you've submitted it by the deadline, you will also have to make a final declaration. So you've got 4 quarterly returns, and then you will have a final declaration to make to HMRC. Okay, so making that 5 in total. Now let's talk about the possible implications this might have on you as a business owner who might fall into any of the categories that has just been mentioned. The first is going to be the potential administrative work, okay, the potential for additional administrative work, particularly if you're a business owner who also has to submit regular quarterly VAT returns, okay. Now, this is going to be an added burden, potentially an added cost as well, depending on whether or not you do that yourself or you work with an accountant who is able to take on that additional workload and submit it on your behalf. Now, the second way this is likely to impact you as someone who is a business owner here in the UK is going to be the potential additional costs, especially when it comes to the software involved in processing all of these, business income and expenses over to HMRC. For now, majority of the software that HMRC are recommending as part of the new Making Tax Digital for income tax all pretty much look as though you have to make payment for using those software. Again, there is going to be a cost burden to business owners and to those who are self-employed and have to actually submit their self-assessment through this process. Third way this is likely to affect you if you are someone who runs a business here in the UK and you're self-employed is the fact that you're actually going to have to be very, very structured and organized about how and what means you go about keeping your records in your business, especially in a digital format. So it's going to be more important now more than ever to start to make sure that you really get into the habit of keeping those digital records for your business income and your expenses, of course, because they will not only be useful when it comes to the implementation of Making Tax Digital for income tax. It will also be useful, of course, when it comes to actually being able to claim back any relevant business expenses that are tax deductible. Now, if you're not already working with an accountant, I'd strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a professional accountant who can help to guide you and structure your business activities well enough so that you are prepared ahead of the upcoming changes to self-assessment here in the UK. Now, I'd really like to get your thoughts on what you think on the new initiative which is coming into effect here in the UK. So drop some comments down in the comment section. And if you'd like to learn more about some of the services that we offer to our clients, then please do make sure you check the links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. I will see you in the next video.